What's up, guys, and welcome back to Beyond the Void Horror Podcast. My name is Alex, and today we're going to be doing a complete Voidtober October horror movie haul for the whole month of October. There's going to be a lot here. I'm going to break it into two parts, but this is the first one. So buckle up and let's get into it. This month of October, Halloween spirit was really big with us. Thank you guys so much for the month of Voidtober with everything that we did there, all the support that we got. I hope we can continue the support to hit 5,000 end of the year. I think we can do it. We're at almost 4,100. So we need 900 more follows. So if you know anybody, but anyway, I'm going to go through this whole entire haul, and it's a ton of stuff from, gifts. There are stuff sent by some of the distributors like MVD or, Unearthed or Synapse or any of those places to kind of promote and do stuff like that and do reviews of that. So some of these I've done, some of these I haven't, but I'm going to show you everything I got, and I hope it'll spark some interest and some things that you might want to check out for yourselves. First up, we got a gift from Plemke. Thank you, buddy. He has been following for a very long time. He was a big fan of the stream that we used to do all the time. And, I kind of slowed down on that to kind of put more effort into the videos on YouTube because this seems to be the place, you know what I mean? So he picked up Prey for me, which was in my wish list on Amazon. And this is the 4K. I haven't even actually gotten a chance to watch it yet, but this does have the multi-language on there. They got the Comanche audio track, which I wish the characters would have been speaking that, but I understand. This is a big surprise as far as Predator movies go. I think this is one of the better in the group of these films. It's a really, really well done film. I really enjoyed it. Some people were complaining about some of the realistic nature of it, and I just have to point out this is about aliens. I understand you try to be as realistic as possible, but I don't know. This was a fun movie. It was gory. It had a lot of blood. I was not expecting it to go as far as it did. And I'm kind of looking forward now to seeing the new Aliens versus Predator that they've got. It's like a TV show, I think, that they're going to be doing. So fuck yeah. But yeah, thank you, Plemke, for doing this. I will try to review this probably on the podcast at some point in time because I already did a review on YouTube. That's how it works. If I do it on here, I do it on the podcast, etc. But thank you, Plemke. Up next, we've got Tombs of the Blind Dead, which MVD Entertainment sent this out to me from Synapse Films to review. It's the special 2-disc Blu-ray edition, so it has both the, copies in here. This looked really great. I did an entire review and unboxing. If you want to check it out, it's on the channel, so check it out. Up next, we got Dead Girl from MVD Entertainment sent this one out from Unearthed Films, which, we did a whole review on this and an unboxing of this one as well, but I wanted to show it to you because, maybe you didn't know I did a review of that, so check it out. Up next, we got another one. I'm going in order, by the way, for the most part, of how I received these. So we got Mortem, which is the sequel to August Underground, and this one is far more superior in the gore department and depravity. Did a full review of this one up on there too. All of these reviews are actually really fun, so you should check them out if you haven't already on YouTube. Up next, I picked up a few things for myself, actually. The entire set of Night of the Demons, which, comes with the first one, the second one, and of course, the new third one that had never been released on Blu-ray before. It only seen a DVD and I think a VHS release, and I think the DVD was very limited. It was actually like $130 for a while there. But yeah, I got the special edition ones. So the first, obviously the Night of the Demons, this is the 4K version, if you could see there. Ultra HD. But yeah, I had to get that. It wouldn't be bad to have all these in 4K, but I'm good. The first one's really all I needed. But to have them redone and a new collection is awesome. I actually have all of these except for the third one. So, but they also came with these slip covers that I got. So you get Demons slip cover here. It's got the same, it's got some stuff on the back. But I thought it was pretty cool. They had different slip covers. Night of the Demons 2. They give you the extra ones, plus the posters, by the way, and Night of the Demons 3. So all of these have posters for these covers and these covers. They're the little mini ones. They're, not as big as like a full poster, but they're still pretty big. And, I've got like 6 posters now that I have no idea where I'm going to put these. But so, it also came with a foil sticker, which was pretty cool. There was a bigger box set that had like enamel pins and like all kinds of stuff. But I just wanted to get the posters and stuff because it was like $10 more for all of the posters and all of the boards. So yeah, you can see here, pretty neat. So I got these from Scream Factory. They came in, about mid-month. So very happy to have these.
4 fucking hours! All right. Woo!
Up next, we got Catty Hack, which is a really funny film that I actually did an unboxing and review of. Pretty funny review of this movie. This was actually a pretty big surprise. I was not a fan of it halfway through the movie, and I was like, oh God, what is Wild Eye Releasing doing to me? But Wild Eye Releasing sent this one out to me, so I gave it a shot. By the end of the movie, it kind of won me over. You'll have to watch that. The director of this movie, Anthony, is super cool. He talked to me on Twitter and everything like that. So check out that review if you haven't already. This is, of course, a bunch of killer gophers on a Caddyshack course. That's why they call it Catty Hack. It's kind of a joke on that. The review explains it better. Yeah, I won't do that. It's not all right. Up next, we got Friday the 13th, the entire series. That's right. This is the entire thing, and holy shit, guys. A lot of discs. Now, this was actually given to me by Resolution 67, Michael, who's done nothing but been super supportive of the channel here recently and kind of went nuts. So a lot of these are from him. I'll point out which ones are mine, and the rest, I think, yeah, they're all his. So thank you very much for all of these coming up here next. This is a really good series, though. It's really cheesy, and it's kind of like, it has nothing to do with Jason, by the way. This is a series that was like, basically like, think of the Warrens. The Ed and Lorraine Warren that the Conjuring movies and everything are based off of. Well, they have like a room full of like these haunted items. Well, there's this old place that was an antique shop that this guy basically collected haunted items and keeps them in his basement. And this new group goes in because there was like somebody who was selling all these items to people, and they sold them for super cheap to get rid of them, not knowing that they're all haunted. This girl and this guy and this old guy all go out to try to basically get all those items back at any cost because they're all haunted. It's super cheesy, but it's also super fucking fun. And I don't know how I'm going to review this exactly, but I'll definitely do it on the channel here. And I might break it down by season. There's like 3 seasons in here, and I might like pick like my top 5 or my top 10, and then talk about them that way. So we'll have to go through and figure out how we're going to do that, because some of these episodes, or I should say seasons, are pretty big. So we'll figure it out. Up next, one of my favorites, Ash vs. Evil Dead. This is the complete collection. Been wanting to get this forever because I was afraid it was going to go bye-bye. And they never did put it out on 4K for any of the other editions or anything like that. So this is all you can get. And I know that Netflix had it for like ever. And now I think it's on Shudder, not 100%, or AMC. But man, this was a really great, underrated show. Season 1 went up to 10 episodes. I kind of tapped out at like the 8th episode. Turns out the 9th and 10th episode of the first season are fucking amazing. Now, I think it was just because I wasn't used to the tone of this. And for that reason, I think a lot of people kind of checked out in the first season. But then I came back to it when the second season started up to rewatch some of the old episodes. And I caught up to 8 and 9 and 10, and I was like, oh, this got better. And then season 2 just blew me away. And then season 3 was not too far off from that. And then it was over. I really wish the fans would have gone for this, because we really didn't deserve this. And we got it, and people didn't appreciate it. So my opinion. I know some people don't like the comedy in this, but I love Ash versus anything. So why'd you do it, fans? Why did you do it? I think it's just, it's an old franchise now, and I'm starting to realize with these old franchises that are decades long, there's just a little bit from everybody that likes like one piece of the franchise that is different from the other pieces. And so you're never going to make everybody happy ever again in these old ass franchises. It's just the way it is. But up next, this one we're going to be doing pretty soon here. Men Behind the Sun, another gift from Plemke. Thank you so much, buddy. I'm going to be doing this one. This is a shock piece that is put out by Massacre Video. They put out some good stuff too if you've never checked them out before. I've gotten quite a few of their releases, but yeah, Massacre Video put out the entire series. I think there was like the first 3, and then there's a 4th one called the Nanking Massacre. This is the other one. It's essentially about a Japanese military prison that does all these like really fucked up experiments on people from World War II. And man, some of the iconography on this is really pretty messed up, and they get even worse as they go on. I think Men Behind the Sun 2 gets even more disgusting, but I have never seen this. This is really shot well, and these are definitely shocking movies, so be on the lookout for that one on YouTube. Up next, we got another one from Resolution 67. This is the alternative cover. You might recognize it from the Arrow version, which you can kind of see here. I just like this one. This is an Aussie film that I have never seen, but I've always wanted to check out. And it's called Dead End Drivein. So might be doing this on the podcast. I'm not 100% sure, but in either case, I'm definitely going to talk about this in some fashion. So, but apparently it's also Quentin Tarantino's one of his favorite movies. This was put out some time ago on Arrow, and I think these are actually pretty hard to get. So thank you very much for catching this one before it went out of print and I would never see it again.
Welcome to your future, like it or not. Dead End Drive-In.
See, up next we got Rutger Hauer in Split Second. This is a hard sci-fi buddy cop movie that's pretty wild. It is a lot better than I think a lot of people give it credit sometimes. It's one of those movies that, it's a little rough around the edges, but for a sci-fi film, this is a fucking kick-ass film. We did do a review of it on the podcast, so I'll definitely be doing this on the YouTube. This is the MVD release. It's been released a couple of different times. You may recognize this cover a little bit more. This is the original cover minus the MVD thing on the bottom, but yeah, they put out some Rewind collection pieces that are pretty fucking awesome. It just depends what labels got it, but they all kind of work together on it. So we'll be going over this one. And there's this creature that lives in the sewers that goes around like killing people, and it's pretty fun. It's it's kind of one of those films that's ripping off other stuff, like Aliens, but it has its own unique value to it, and it takes place in the year 2008. This is made in I think the 80s too. So, or the early 90s. Rutger Hauer was such a great cheesy actor that, he did great in some things, okay in others, but it's all Rutger Hauer. Thanks, Resolution 67.
The only thing we know for sure is that he's not a vegetarian.
All right, so next up, we got Night Gallery, which is the complete series. This was like the Twilight Zone with Rod Serling, but it's the Night Gallery, and Night Gallery had some other different ones, and it wasn't just sci-fi. It was a little bit of everything. And man, this is the entire 2 seasons. There's also some lost tales from season 2, so I'm really looking forward to this. There's 3 seasons, excuse me. But yeah, it comes in the book format here. There's an episode guide on the inside cover here, but we'll go into more detail like that when we start doing this. Now, I'm not sure how I'm going to break into these ones. Like I said, the other one. But if you are a Twilight Zone fan, it's pretty safe to say that you're going to like Night Gallery. It is very much in the same vein of that. It wasn't obviously as popular as the Twilight Zone, but I really love these kind of short anthology sort of stories, like one-offs for each episode. That's why I love Creepshow and I love all that stuff, because I just love those sort of short stories that are short, sweet, they have this like message about them, and it kind of leaves you wanting more. Stoked about having this. I never thought I was even going to own it, so thank you, dude. Speaking of Twilight Zone, is the Twilight Zone the 80s series, which was not as popular as the original, but still, I think, a little bit slightly more popular than the newest one. I mean, they have so many different versions of the Twilight Zone. There was like the 90s one, there was this 80s one, there was... I think the 2020s one, you know, we have the original from like back in the day, which I need to get at some point in time. But this is the 80s one that I was a little worried about not being able to get. And because some of the copies online are terrible and it's hard to watch. I think one of the TV stations actually has this, so you can kind of watch it, one of the streaming services anyway. But yeah, this is just like the other one, you know, it's got the same books and everything. So, but I love Twilight Zone stuff. Like, I love the short stories. I love the little weird tales. They sort of redo some of the ones from the early days, as well as the other shows did the same thing. But I think they changed them enough sometimes to make them different. This one has some pretty big cast members in it. Like, Bruce Willis is in the first episode of this, where he bumps into a version of himself. And it's like, I always remember that episode because it's like the very first one. But again, looking forward to breaking into some of these. It's going to be a long ride to go through all of these, and I might do it in the background while I'm doing all the other ones, and then just take notes and then do a video of it. So, and like pick some of my favorite ones. Might be the best way to go about it. But there's like, let's see. I think there's 3 seasons on this one as well. Oh no. Yeah, there's 3 seasons. So yeah, big old set of shows. Thank you, dude. Up next, we got The Resurrected. Now, this is actually a pretty damn good movie, and if you are a Lovecraft fan, this is going to be one that you're going to want to check out. It's a little bit on the low budget side, about a mad scientist who has a basement where he's trying to conjure up some sort of crazy evil. Very Lovecraftian storytelling there. This is actually pretty cool practical effects and everything like that. I haven't seen this in a long time, and I had like a really crappy version of this. This is a definite step up. This is a Scream Factory release that I've been meaning to get forever. And you can see the new covers underneath. It's like they did commission artwork, but they didn't put it on the front, which is weird. But yeah, this is one that's a little schlocky, but if you like Lovecraft, like, this isn't going to be like Reanimator. So if you like that, it's going to be a little different, but it's still really pretty decent. And if you like Lovecraftian stories that you might have missed out on, this might be one. So I would check it out.
Death was only the beginning.
The cops found 8. Count them, 8 boxes of human remains.
Up next, we got some 4K's coming. This is The House by the Cemetery, which is the Blue Underground release that they've been putting out. Now, these get a little pricey when they first put them out, I've noticed, and then they kind of come down in price, which is why I had this in my Amazon wish list, because I was a little nervous about the price. But, you know, because I think some of these come out like $50 sometimes, and it's like, I can't hop on that right away. Now, we did do the trilogy of this. This isn't it's an unofficial trilogy of the Gates of Hell trilogy, which starts with City of the Living Dead, which I just got on 4K a few months back. Then it also has From Beyond, which is it's not a sequel or anything, but they just call it the trilogy. And then this one, which is The House by the Cemetery. Now, The House by the Cemetery is a little bit more of an acquired taste of those 3, because, you know, The Beyond is one of those ones that, you know, a lot of people really like. A lot of people like Zombie as well, but that's not part of this trilogy, so to speak. City of the Living Dead is one of my favorite movies, but this one's still a little underrated because it is like a haunted house movie about this like mad scientist that's like dead in the basement. And there's some pretty wild stuff about this kid and what happens in that house. Again, not my most favorite, but still pretty cool. And we'll be reviewing that on the channel here on the YouTube. We do have a review of all 3 of those movies up on the podcast, so if you want to check them out, you can. But yeah, this is in 4K. I can't wait to talk about this and rewatch this because I'm sure it looks amazing. Up next, we got Day of the Beast. I haven't taken this. I've opened it, but I haven't like actually taken the plastic off. Sometimes I like to keep it like that. But this is Alex de la Iglesia's The Day of the Beast. So we did this on the podcast. This is a pretty fun one. I think I did it when Brittany was on the podcast, but she and I watched this and we both really liked it. I think we gave it like a 6.5 or a 7. It's about this priest who is so tired of the devil that he decides to commit a bunch of heinous acts of violence and weird things, kind of fun, silly things to try to get the devil's attention so he can kill him once and for all. And he teams up with this metalhead guy. He's in a lot of these films. He was actually in Blade 2, the metalhead guy. He plays a lot of different characters, but they team up like as an unsuspecting, team. And a lot of crazy shit happens until they actually do meet the devil himself. And it's like a black comedy. When I say black comedy, it's like that really kind of dark humor-ish. He always has dark humor in his stuff, but this is more of a black comedy. And there's some silly stuff. It's like watching Inspector Clouseau from like the Pink Panther almost as a preacher go through all these like crazy things to kill the devil. It's almost exactly what it's like in a way. But like there's just a lot more dire things going on in the movie and it's a little silly. A lot of Alex de la Iglesia's work has a really strange humor to it that some people like and some people don't, but I think this is one of the better ones he did. I'm also a big fan of The Last Circus, which is one of my favorite films he's ever done. And we also did like Action Mutante recently, which very weird humor, of course, again, but very glad to have this again. I've been wanting to get this for a while. The price, was a little high when it first came out too, so I wanted to wait a little bit. But yeah, this is from Severn, who put out the Action Mutante as well. Up next, we got Angel Cop, which this is actually pretty interesting little story about this movie, or this OVA as they call it. It's an anime, but it's an extremely violent anime. Probably hold it up a lot easier to see this. It's like a collaboration between a couple of really famous people during the golden era in Japan, where they were making some of the best, most violent anime for some adult. They were really pushing the boundary. This was like right before the collapse of the economic system out there in Japan. And so they were putting this stuff out, and it's kind of mostly inspired by RoboCop. So if you like RoboCop, you might be interested in this, but it's essentially like a futuristic version where this cop goes around, and it's got a lot of detective stuff in it because they wanted to have like that detective aspect in it, but they were highly inspired by RoboCop in a way, so they wanted to bring this out. Now, one of the animators in this movie was like a part of it, and you'll have to forgive me, the names kind of I'm missing the names off the top of my head. They kind of split up, and then years later when the economy crashed, they tried to finish this back up, and the story, the guy who's not much of a writer decided to write, and it got really kind of wild and ridiculous and really bad dialogue. But for some reason, a lot of people really love this one because of how bad it is in the dialogue. It just does some of the most wildest, bloodiest, craziest shit. So half of this movie was with one team, and then the next half is without the guy from the first one, but a new guy, and they just went off the rails with this. So I'm really looking forward to checking this out. I'm really excited to be able to do something like this on the channel. I like to introduce stuff like this to you guys because a lot of people don't really take a chance on anime and stuff, and you'd be surprised what you find out there, and hopefully I can kind of help show you it. But yeah, I've never watched this series myself, but I know a lot about it, and it's one that I've been meaning to check out for quite a while, and he picked up the set for me, so thank you so much. Up next, we got Cesu, which now this isn't a horror movie, but it is pretty graphic. Some of the most violent shit I've seen this year, other than When Evil Lurks. But man, is this a glorious romp. If you've ever wanted to know what it's like to see a bunch of Nazis get stomped the fuck out, this guy will do it for you, because it's technically based on a guy from, I think it's Sweden, Finland. The Nazis came over and tried to take over northern Finland, and they bump into this guy who's like out there trying to find gold, and they try to take his gold, and so he comes back with a vengeance to get his gold and survive. And this guy's like a fucking superhero, man. Like the extreme violence that is in this movie just makes this a fun ride. There is a lot of fun, dark, graphic humor in this movie. We did a review on the YouTube for this, but I'm definitely going to be doing a review on the podcast at the very least. But yeah, if you've never seen this movie, this is one of the best films this year. It's not like a deep film. It's just a romp, you know, like just one of those gory, bloody, knock this shit out of some Nazis romp. It's wild, man. But yeah, this is the 4K release, so I'm super excited about that. See every graphic, gory detail, you know?
Thank you.
Up next, oh, this is a big one. So this is the 4-disc collector's edition of Stephen King's The Mist by Frank Darabont, which a lot of people really like. It's the one with that really sad ending, you know. The one that Stephen King even said that he absolutely wished he would have come up with, but didn't. So now this is the 4K collector's edition 4-disc set. And the cool thing about it is that in here you get, you know, the Blu-ray and the 4K, but you also get it in black and white. So not only do you get all the extras and everything on there and the commentaries and everything, but you also get the black and white version. So you can try checking out the movie in black and white. And I will say that watching it in black and white, because I did already watch this, and I'm going to do a review on it on the channel here. It's actually pretty cool to watch in black and white. You know, I think the only other one that I can think of that did something like this was the new Mad Max movie. They called it Black and Chrome or something like that. But this actually really does look pretty good in black and white. And I just like the colors a little bit more. But as far as like the CGI that's in this movie, which some people say is not, it's a little too much, but I still think the CGI for this is still pretty good. But when you watch it in black and white, it actually kind of covers some of that and kind of blends some of the, you know, blood and everything like that. It looks pretty cool. So might be a good choice if you want to check it out. I mean, I had to have this just on 4K anyway, and he got it for me, so I get to check out both of them. This is a really great set, and it's actually been pretty cheap now. Great set for like in the 20s, you know, $20 range, so check it out. Up next, we got Suspiria in 4K from Synapse Films. This is a very awesome film to me. I really am a big fan of it. I never did a review on the YouTube for this, so I'm looking forward to talking about this again. I did do a review of Suspiria. I did the trilogy, which is Suspiria, Inferno, and Mother of Tears. This by far is the best one of the three. They were all done by Argento, and this is the more artistic one. Now, there was a remake that they did of this, which I also like, but I still always kind of lean towards this one because this one has like a mystery to it, but it's about witches. It's got some really graphic violence, some amazing colored scenes in this. And my God, in 4K HDR, this is going to be insane to watch just because of those colors. So I am really looking forward to checking this one out. But yeah, this is the special edition set that has, I think it has the Blu-ray as well. Yeah, the Blu-ray has all the features in it, like most of these. So if you haven't seen this, this is probably one of Argento's biggest masterpieces. A lot of people this is like a supernatural giallo. A lot of people are not fans of the supernatural element, so they may lean a little bit more towards his giallo stuff, but I like this one a lot. I think this is one of the most atmospheric movies in general. It's just got a haunting fucking soundtrack. So did you get a copy of this? They do have the original cover, by the way. Just so you know, this is kind of a bland looking cover, but it works. Slow burn, but Christina, she doesn't like this movie a lot, but I named my cat after it, who passed away some years ago, but I'll always remember her because of this movie too, so. Up next, Bam! Rabid Grannies. This is one I picked up myself, actually, from Vinegar Syndrome. They just put this out a couple of weeks ago, so I'll be doing a review of this soon, too. This is the lenticular cover, so you can see that's one granny. You got the other granny on the back. It changes into creatures. They turn into demonic creatures that literally tear apart their family. But this is a French film, actually. I had to look it up because I was like, wait a second, that I've actually had a copy of for quite a while, but this is sort of the original cover. They had many different covers. This is the one I used to have, or I still do. It was the Trauma version, but it was the German version, so it was supposed to be uncut. There's been some problems with this movie for many, many years. Trauma has they gave the rights to Vinegar Syndrome to do a copy, but they've put out Blu-rays of this before. This is the DVD that comes with the work safety video in it on top of it, so I'll probably always keep this. But this supposedly was the uncut. This is actually longer. This actually has 96 minutes in it. The one I had 88 minutes in it. So this has 8 minutes more. And I think it's from all the cut footage that Trauma would put in this extras because they couldn't get the rights to put them in with the film. But Vinegar Syndrome has somehow figured that out. And supposedly this is like the release now that you can get the full movie fully uncut, and I am super stoked to have it, so I had to get the lenticular cover to go with it. I should have bought the plastic cover to go with it, but yeah. This is a wild movie about some grannies who have their birthday, their two sisters, they have a bunch of children, they're really wealthy, all of their kids want their money and nothing more, and only come to visit them because they want to be put in their will. One of the children of these aunts get fucking some sort of curse put on them, and they start killing everybody in the house. It's silly. It's ridiculous. The practical effects are pretty wild and good, but they're also, you can kind of see the phrase in them. So it's a little silly, but I can't wait to review this. We'll be doing this one soon too. Try to do some of the more recent released ones as soon as possible, and then we'll get to all the other stuff as well. Up next, we got Crossworlds, which this is not a horror movie. It's a PG-13 film with Rutger Hauer. It's like a action, drama, sci-fi film about going to different dimensions, but it's one of those films that I kind of liked with Rutger Hauer. I don't know why. It was just one of those films that I've always wanted to have in my collection that I haven't seen since I was a kid. So this is probably been since the 90s that this came out. And I forget the year that this came out, but this is the Lionsgate version one. So this is their early stuff. So, you know, before they got really popular, but I'll be doing this on the channel and we might do it on the podcast. We'll see. But this is, oh, by the way, thank you very much, Resolution 67. Up next, we got Trancers on 4K. Now, this is technically a full moon release, which I've never done the 4K from them before. So this is one that I had in my wish list that I've been wanting to do for quite a while. Trancers went on to do like 5 or 6 movies. You know, they got pretty wild after the first one. I think the difference between the first and the second one are pretty big. But the first one was always kind of cool and fun. Jack Death, he's a future cop lost in the present, and he's hunting 23rd century menace in 1985. But it's essentially a, you know, hard sci-fi, crazy time-traveling film that's pretty wild and fun. I haven't seen it in quite a while, so I'm really looking forward to doing this one. This one might be a podcast one or on here, depends. I'm really happy to have this one in 4K. You any fans of this, by the way? I like a lot of sci-fi stuff. I mean, technically Lovecraft is sci-fi, so.
Jack Death is back. And he's never even been here before. Trancers.
Up next, we got Yellow Brick Road, which this is a movie that I saw many, many years ago. It has a lot of promise. There was like this story about these kids that are like going out in the middle of the forest and they start hearing the Yellow Brick Road music and they get lost. And it turns into this like horror story. And so it's kind of like mirroring some of the Oz stuff in this. So I really thought that was kind of an interesting concept, and like it gets pretty wild. I feel like it's a found footage film. I'm not 100% sure. It's been a while since I've seen it. This is the updated special edition, as you can see here. And it says, this road has no fairy tale ending. I'll read you the back. In 1940, the entire population of Friar, New Hampshire, abandoned their homes and walked up a nearby mountain path, never to be seen again alive. 70 years later, a team of researchers intent on solving the mystery find the long-forgotten trail marker and embark on a journey along the same cursed road. So yeah, I thought this was a pretty cool concept. This has all the special features and everything. And when this came out, it was kind of limped out and like there's a lot of questions that you're going to ask about it. So having this special feature edition is something that I really wanted to dive into, specifically to do like a big spoiler section. So we're going to be doing this on the podcast here in the next couple of weeks. So you're going to want to keep an eye out for that because we got this and another movie called Gale, Stay Away from Oz that we're going to do back to back. So 2 horror themed films about Oz that we're doing for that week, which is pretty cool, right? So be on the lookout for that episode. We're going to do a deep dive on it. Thank you, Resolution, for sending this one out because I'm really anxious to see it again. Up next, we got The Blob. Now, a lot of people got this one before I did, because this is the 4K version that Scream Factory put out. And it's crazy because I had to wait an additional 2 weeks to get this one from Scream Factory because I wanted to get this extra slipcase and the poster because they give you 2 posters and this slipcase. Something about the case or whatever got mixed up, and so they had to wait to send it out. So a lot of people have already reviewed this and talked about it. I was actually going to do a review of it for the Halloween, but Halloween ended up being really busy, by the way, guys. So, but yeah, this is one of my favorite movies. I'm going to be doing a review of it very soon, as this just came out. So I want to try to get that out and done for you. So, but I do love the slipcover, give you a sneak peek, and we'll talk about a lot of the extras and stuff on this one. One of my favorite practical effects films of all time. One of my favorite films of all time. So up next, we got Paranormal Activity, The Ultimate Chills Collection. Now, I'm not a big fan of this box. Like, I don't know what they were doing with the stuff on here, and some of the artwork is a little questionable. But the cool thing about this is that they have all of the movies individually. So you get the first Paranormal Activity, the second, the third, the fourth, the unmarked or the marked ones, which is the fifth, and then Ghost Dimension, which was one of my least favorites. And then the Next of Kin. This never actually got a physical release. So this is one that I wanted to have. Probably do a video of my top order on here on the YouTube, order of which ones I like the most. So we'll do that. And it even comes with Unknown Dimension. It's like a documentary about the story of Paranormal Activity. So I'll be throwing in a lot of trivia with that as I'm talking about it. So yeah, this is the franchise that basically got Jason Blum to start Blumhouse with Oren Peli. So if it wasn't for those two guys, we would not have any Blumhouse stuff. And you know, that may be a good thing for some, maybe not so much for others, but yeah, this is a cool box set. It actually comes with a really cool little sticker that you can put on it's hard to see. I don't know if you can see it, but if you can get the light through, you can kind of see monitored by Paranormal Activity. Anyway, you put this on your window of your house like it's supposed to be part of that. The documentary actually has, it's like an hour and a half long documentary about the whole thing. So pretty cool. So Resolution got this for me. It's really actually pretty cheap too. I think it's like $36. So if you find it and you like the series, it's not a bad price for the entire series plus a documentary.
You knew exactly what I meant. I said don't mess with that stuff because it scared me. What do? You go out and you get the best looking fucking Ouija board I've ever seen and you put it in the middle of our living room?
All right, we're down to the last one. I know this has been a long video, guys, and if you've hung out to the end, you're a goddamn legend. The Brood. It's a Criterion release. It's the Blu-ray, of course. It is a David Cronenberg film that I am a fan of. This isn't one of my favorite movies of his, but it is definitely on the higher up on the list. But this is about parenting and giving birth and having children, and there's like some really fucked up kids in this movie, and it's kind of like the how to terrify a parent. Being a parent is, kind of scary for some people, but David Cronenberg really kind of makes it even worse.
Look.
Surprise, bitch! Welcome to the chocolate factory.
But yeah, this is one I've been wanting to get for my collection for a very long time. Definitely worth watching. It's a little bit on the weird and slow side, but it's got some really wild, weird looking kids. So check it out. Pretty cool. It's one of his earlier films, but this has its moments, so it's pretty cool. That's literally everything aside from stuff I got from Unearthed Films, which I'm going to save for another video for you guys. And we'll be doing that next, or the next couple of videos. I'll try to split it up so we do a review in here somewhere. Maybe of a new movie or one of the physical releases. But big thank you to everybody that's helped donate here. Resolution, Plemke, Unearth, MVD, everything. You guys are really the best, and I'm just very thankful to have a channel where I can talk about these things with you guys. So thank you. If you stayed around to the end, you're a fucking legend. Right. I'm a fucking legend in the comment section. So I know that you watch it to the end. So I know who's the badass motherfuckers of this fucking YouTube. So thank you so much, everybody. I really appreciate you guys. I've overwhelmed with happiness about doing more videos now. And I have a whole stack of stuff to prove it, that I've got a lot of work to do, but I'm so excited to dig into it. So I hope you guys are going to tune in. This is what to expect. Some of what we've already done. If you haven't seen those videos, watch them. If you're looking forward to anything in here, let me know what you want me to do soon. I do have to prioritize some of the new releases, try to get those done first, but once I get through them, we're all aboard, baby. So thank you, everybody, and thank you for coming by, and as always, long live the void.